What's good, Tano? I hope you enjoyed the gameplay of BASMU against level 9199 Steel Path enemies in Warframe. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe and let me know in the comments below your opinion about this weapon. Let's get started. Now, before you build your weapons and Warframes, I highly recommend you check Warframe Wiki because there is a lot of information in there the game don't tell you. And they are very critical information, from multiplicatives to critical to characteristics, comparing, you name it. Everything is available there. And I kindly ask you, DE, for day 600 to copy this and paste it in-game as a tab information of the weapon so we can read and learn about it without checking the website. Now, we appreciate the wiki, but it's better for new players to learn and veterans to improve their builds if they have the information within the game. Also, I highly recommend that Warframes and weapons with augments to have a separated mod slot for augments specifically, okay? It can be unlocked however you like, DE, okay? And not to be with the main mods, but they can put other augments with the mods, but let's say you give them 2 free slots for augments. If they want to equip third augment, it can be from can be equipped with the other mods. Now, before I build my weapons and my warframes, I rely on a method called DVS. If you follow it, I am sure you'll start making your own powerful builds and surprise even your friends, and you don't need anybody to tell you how to build anymore, but still you need to watch my channel because, you know, I'm good. Now, how you deal damage, what elements you're going to be using against what faction. So it's not like you're going against Corpus, like you're going against Grineer. Grineer is armored units, Corpus is shielded units, and they don't have armor. Now you need to think about it. Also, are you going with multiplicative damage? Are you going with additive damage? Are you going with multiplicative faction damage to faction? You need that's the decisions you need to make. Viral, how you deal 325% more damage to enemies' HP. What makes viral amazing, since maybe you're a new player and you're watching, every enemy in the game has HP, so viral makes it like the ultimate statue in the game when it comes to dealing more damage to enemies. Stripping enemies' armor is very important in Warframe, as lowering enemies' armor, you lower their damage reduction, you deal higher damage. Now, also, I want to mention magnetic and how important magnetic now in the game. It's gonna be increasing damage against shielded enemies by 325%, but that's not really what we care about, since we can just use toxin and bypass their shields. But what makes magnetic very important is the damage against overguard, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Now, if you don't like my methods, because everyone have their own style, everyone using different warframes, helmet abilities, the combinations goes infinite. So I prepared this sheet to help you around my methods to find your own style. If you don't like the methods I'm gonna be using today. Now, why I take Revenant and why we go level cap? First, I take Revenant because he's a tank, so I can showcase the weapon without getting disturbed with survivability, so I can show the weapon TPM, kill per minute, or the damage it deals. So it is fair, because if somebody uses Revenant and somebody uses Mag or somebody uses Vault, it's going to be different because everyone has a different survivability in the game. So I give you the best survivability to showcase the weapon, and then the decision is yours whether to take this weapon or not. Now, also, you need to know why we do level cap. Now, enemies in Warframe, they scale on EHP, effective hit points, on their health, shield, and overguard based on their level. I hope one day DE gives this feature to the Warframes with health, like Inaros, or Nidus, or Kullervo. That would be amazing, so we can build around damage reduction and armor and health. That would be amazing, and we make use of those mods and so on. Also, enemy scales on their damage output based on level. That means we can test the weapons, we can test the Warframe survivability at enemies' prime damage output. Now, you need to keep in mind, Tano, that I take weapons to level cap to showcase for you without a Riven, without damage boosting, so you can decide whether you want to invest or not. Because I see a lot of Thanos lately saying, oh, okay, if you put viral and stripping enemies' armor, any weapon can go level cap. Yes, but not every weapon can perform the same. And you can just imagine, oh yes, it will perform the same. But no, you have to see it. We build, we make videos and weapons based on testing, not based on theories and imagination. Alright? Let's go for the build. First note, you need to know that my viral procs will come from Nourish, and my corrosive weapon build for element I will use 2 Emerald Archon shards to push the stacks of corrosive from 10 to 14, so armor strip enemies with the BASMU himself. Now, when it comes to Excalibur, I'm not going to be using anything now, so we scale the damage showcase in Simulacrum slowly, so you get an idea how it performs with and without the arcanes. And when it comes to the BASMU, let's go. Unique trait. Fully depleting magazine costs 3 radial pulses, staggering enemies and healing the user for 100 health per enemy. Alternate fire shoots two 9-meter beam that chains between enemies. Now this is very nice, and you need to know when to use the alternate fire and when to use the normal fire mode. I will show you both and how powerful they are. Now, Galvanized Aptitude for statue chance on kill, 40% direct damage per statue type affecting the target for 20 seconds, stacks up to 2 times. Dreadful Killshot. Now this is the new augment or BASMU. Increase damage and statue chance by 20% every 75 Warframe health capped at 360%. Now for this specific augment you will need a 1500 Warframe health. And that's very important. So if we take here, for example, an Excalibur with 370 health, and I just equip Arcane Blessing, as I find Arcane Blessing is the best approach you can do, rather than building or modding for vitality and health, because it will take a lot of spots. As you can see, 1570, and we got our Arcane Blessing 50 stacks, and we got Dreadful Killshot 360. So go and get your Arcane Blessing, or use the Thrax let's say the yellow Thrax thing, Plasma on Yonta, and just buy it from there, or just get it for 35 platinum. So that's the way you get the 1500. If you don't like it, you don't like the condition, and you can't equip Blessing, I don't think you should compromise your build for the Dreadful Killshot. So the replacement for that will be Serration, or would be a Riven, or anything that you really like in here. Okay, now if you are watching this video in the future and you don't have the Dreadful Killshot, Serration is the replacement. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot on kill, 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. Primed Bane of Green is multiplicative damage against the faction you're fighting. You want to change it every time you're fighting a different faction. Now, a lot of Thanos doesn't like to use it, and so Serration is what you want to replace it with until you get a Riven, or you can go for more fire rate and stuff like that, and you will be good to go. Now, Primed Crew rounds for cold, Thermite rounds for heat and statue chance, Malignant for toxin and statue chance, Rifle Elemental is statue damage, which is multiplicative to slash, heat, electricity, toxin, blast, and gas. Now, if you pay attention here, I'm modding for blast, and blast get plusty as 30% base damage after 1.5 seconds as an explosion at 10 stacks or on death. We'll be running more on death, but it is what it is. Stacks deal their damage simultaneously to enemies within 5 meters while staggering them. Now, dealing damage simultaneously to enemies within 5 meters, connecting to the unique trait of the alternate fire 9 meter. So you can already imagine if we get enemies all together in a 5 meter radius area, so pull them in together or cordon them together or vortex them together or whatever you want, you will create a mass destruction BASMU that is unstoppable. Now, if we scroll all the way here, you'll see that the weapon has a very high statue chance. Now it has like 110%. Look at that, blast 93% and toxin is 17.2. And here you got the corrosive with 100. You got here 110% for corrosive 45 and blast 64. So you're broken radial toxin and you'll be broken blast, and you'll be doing a lot of crazy things with this weapon. Now what you need to know is that this is multiplicative. This is multiplicative. Okay, this is very important to know in here, as what you're gonna witness is going to be very, very powerful. Now, some Thanos would ask, why don't we build this weapon, for example, for critical chance? Now, the weapon has 45%, so if you keep critical delay, primary equity, and we take off the multi-shot for this weapon and galvanized scope, the weapon will still not do the red crits that we really want. So let me lower just the enemy's level, since this is a not full build. Alright, let's summon the heavy corrupted gunners really quick. Alright, and we just like, let's say, take these guys out. And you can see already, like, we are doing orange crits. Look at that. Now, orange crits is really nice, crit builds is really nice, I like them, but I wanted to take the BASMU in a different approach. Okay, so let's summon now 230 heavy corrupted gunners. And you'll see that we're doing orange now. Yes, the weapon can do, let's say, I'll say it can do red crits and so on, but it needs warframe buffs, and that makes the weapon rely only on that warframe to do that. So I think BASMU shouldn't be built with critical chance. It can be, it's really okay, it can be. If you really want to see it on critical chance level cap, let me know in the comments below, but we will go this time with statue chance, and I promise you, you will be very surprised. Primary deadhead or mercilized, I prefer deadhead, as you get the 360 damage and you get 30% headshot multiplier and minus weapon recoil. Now, if you have a Riven with multiplicative damage to faction, Primate Bane of Orkin is what to replace. If you have a Riven with damage, CC/CD damage, yes, you can replace Primate Bane of Orkin or Dreadful Killshot if you don't like it, or you want to use, or you don't want to use it. If you have a Riven with cold, crave rounds. If you have a Riven with heat, thermal rounds. If you have a Riven with toxins, that you malignant force, and so on. Now, I didn't equip anything in here as I didn't find anything like it's recharging and stuff like that. I didn't feel I should put anything in there. But if you want me to advise you like what you would put in there, honestly, I have no idea. Honestly, maybe you want to put more ammo, or maybe you want to put the vigilante just for the critical chance if you're building for critical chance, stabilizer for weapon recoil, twitch, terminal velocity for projectile speed. It's up to you really what you want to do. Now we will go step by step. As you can see, my Excalibur has only Arcane Blessing in there for the augment, and I took off my companion so you can tell the difference between pulling enemies and not. And let me really quick prepare Vazarin in here so I can tell you the difference of things and how you use the primary and alt fire. So in conclusion, so I don't make it like so hard for you to understand, like separated enemies, you use the normal fire mode. Pulled in enemies, you use the alt fire. Okay, so I'm not gonna be proccing viral yet. I was just like gonna hit the enemies like so. And as you can see, this guy is armor stripped. There we go. And you can see the weapon is not like performing crazy amount of damage, like millions of damage and stuff like that. You already know, since this is not a crit build, and so it is a statue build. So the more statues we have around, the more damage we deal, and we need to get the enemies that near each other's in a way. And since we don't have viral in there, things are different. So let's resummon those guys. And this is very important, Teno, so you know how to use the weapon, not just like copy paste the build and then you say it doesn't work for you. Now, here we go, activating the let's activate the get damage. We have Nourish active now, and you can see now the power of Nourish and Viral and why it is very important to have in the game. There you go. Now, that's that. Now, if I pull in enemies together, before I pull my Nautilus, I just like gonna pull them with Vazarin. There you go. And then I use the alt fire. You will notice that the chains in enemies, and since we're using the deadhead, now it's better to have them standing because you can't aim on their head when they are down. Okay, so there you go. See? Now when I'm aiming at their head, I mean from the main fire. So having them like this is good, but then you get the main fire, and then you get the alt fire. See that? And that's how you'll be playing the weapon. When they pulled in, you use the alt fire. When they are separated, you use the normal fire. So if we equip Nautilus now, he will do the job of pulling in enemies for us. There we go. A minute now. Come on, let's go, Nautilus. There we go. Boom. And now we got an increase of fire rate as well. And this is the Nautilus build that we are using now. Cordon for pulling enemies, duplex for the clones, assault to attack, vacuum for the loot, manifold for more cordon, and then shield, armor, health, reinforced bone for fire rate, tenacious bone for critical damage, but it doesn't really matter, but it matters because you want one Nautilus build, not many Nautilus builds. So this will give you 120% critical damage if your sentient weapon has 50% plus critical chance. Now Vriglas Prime is the best sentient weapon, but it needs Riven for critical chance to do that and reach the 50% threshold. If you don't have that, Prime Razor Rifle or Volcroc will do the job for you. Okay, so there we go. Now let's get our health. There we go, like, and we need like the 1500. There we go. It is really powerful. Now if you ask my opinion, like what would I think about the BASMU? Now the BASMU, yes, it can take out level cap with ease. It's not a big deal for it, like it can really go for level cap and like it's easy. But it's powerful. It's powerful. Now, one more thing I wanted to point out, since we're talking about the build. Now, you can also, if you don't want to use the Dreadful Killshot, I highly recommend you can use the magnetic capacity. It's a very powerful mod to put in here, as magnetic also will go against overguarded enemies, and you will be thankful, really. Or you can use it against the multiplicative damage to faction. Okay, but if you go against corpus enemies, make sure that you build around toxin. Okay, that's very, very important to note, Dano. You want to build around toxin, and that will help you a lot taking those enemies down. So let's summon the Manic, since a lot of Thanos likes to see the Manic. All right, there we go. Let's summon Manic, and let's equip the Grenier multiplicative faction mod, since Manic is actually a Grenier faction. All right, let's go. Now we need to get a kill or so for the galvanized to work properly. Now let's get our health in there. Now my highest, let's say, advice is that you don't deplete all the magazine. So as you go like so, when it's like 8, you stop, you stop, you stop, you stop, you stop, you stop, like this. See, that's the best way to play it. Actually, you don't want to deplete and you start reloading like so. There you go, there you go, there you go. Now it gets broken. Now that's how you broke the weapon, by not actually letting it to reload, by depleting. Look, pop, pop, pop. Now, in case you don't know, the Manic is actually equal to level cap EHP. They are the highest EHP on simulacrum that you can get, and they are so close to level cap enemies. And this is the alt fire, what you're watching right now, without letting it deplete. That's very important to point out in there. In my opinion, this weapon, I would give it 7 out of 10. It is really good. And I would say it is low to mid game, with maybe a little bit level cap, medium level cap weapon. I would say, no, I'm not gonna say as a high level cap weapon. I would say medium level cap weapon, but it is a low and mid-game beast. So I want to say, if you like the video, hit the like, means a lot, helps with the algorithm. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to build this weapon and if you're going to give it a try, and if you like the video. Special thanks to Hall of Members, special VIPs, and this video donator, whole donations, and everyone in my community. Join my Discord, link in the description. Big love to you all, and see you next time.